So how is the strike by unions affecting the brand and reputation of the national carrier, that's South African Airways? Branding and advertising expert Andy Rice joining me to discuss this. Andy, good evening. I'm not sure, you know, I mean, SAA and this strike, I would imagine SAA's reputation, and I'm going to be very frank, was literally down the toilet, I suppose, before the strike. So, you know, what impact will this particular strike have? How much further down the tubes is it going to go?
Here's a simple and basic marketing fact. If your product's not on the shelf, no one can buy it. So that doesn't matter whether you're talking dog food or cornflakes or airlines. If there isn't a flight going where you want to go at the right time and approximately the right price, then you won't be able to use that brand. And if there are no flights at all anywhere, then you can imagine that indeed there's a whole... There's two sides of it really. There's lost revenue, people who would have taken one of your flights but didn't. But worse, those who must get somewhere will go on another carrier. And that becomes a kind of accidental trial of the other brand. And it may well be that people say, actually, I quite like this brand. I'm not going to take the risk of chaos and confusion from anywhere else. I'm going to fly with that one next time. So,
and in people's minds, I think they've already figured we've paid enough for SAA already. Taxpayers have paid. You know, for them it's going to be like, it's not just a matter of technicality, it's a matter of like, you know, how much more of an inconvenience, SAA, are you going to be to in my life?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between the taxpayers' attitude and those more closely involved with the brand itself. So I think there's no doubt that taxpayers are all saying we have had enough. Those more closely associated with the company and with the industry may well say, have we tried every option? And I would think we've come pretty close to trying every option.
And you have to wonder, have they? I mean, we, yes, but SAA and management and the board and all of that, do you really think that they're willing to give a little to save this brand? Are they in a position to give anything to save this brand?
Well, if they could, if they had a reasonable chance of saving the brand, then I think it would be worth going for, because brands are at the core of commercial value. If you have a strong brand, the chances are that your business can charge premium prices, attract the best staff, retain the best staff, attract joint venture partners. All of those are the happy outcome of a strong brand. But to build a strong brand from such a low position as SAA is today would be a long-term exercise. If people think there's a quick fix, then other than culling a whole bunch of routes and making it a domestic airline only, as I've heard some people suggest, there is no real quick fix brand-wise to a situation such as SAA faces.
So we know now, according to the South African Customer Satisfaction Index, SAA coming out the worst in Africa. Though, I mean, that's no surprise considering what we know over the past couple of years. But let's look at other airlines in Africa. Andy, let's, for example, what's the success story? Ethiopian Airlines?
Ethiopian is globally a big success story. They seem to
coming out of Africa. So
yes, and they've made a hub out of Addis Ababa, and they really are creating an airline that would be suddenly and surprisingly perhaps amongst your first choices to see where you might want to put your hard-earned money. I'm really disappointed on SAA's front, because a service index has some relation to, quite a close relation to, the calibre of the staff. And the number of staff available. If you run an airline on an absolute minimum in terms of staff, then you can expect to get those kind of results. But when you have as many staff as SAA have, you would think that you could actually raise the levels to a global pitch.
Yeah, I mean, now they're wanting to cut that down as well.
Yeah, well, I think they have to. I don't think any inbound investor is going to say we must get close to the norms of the category in terms of the number of people we employ and the skills that they have got. And
before I let you go, you did say just a minute or so ago that any hope of rebuilding this brand is going to be a very, very long road ahead. Where would they start if that has to become a priority now? Where should they start?
Well, the interesting thing is that the corollary to being a weak brand is that you have a fairly fickle audience out there. People actually are not that loyal to airline brands, funnily enough. They're often more loyal to the Voyager miles and to the frequent flyer than they are to the brand itself. And if you can put up a network that delivers the right product at the right price at the right time, then you have a chance of recovery. And at the moment, unfortunately, I don't think they're ticking those boxes.
Okay, not looking good, definitely. Thanks very much, Andy Rice, a brand specialist, the advertising expert. So we're talking brand SAA, or the lack of brand SAA at the moment. Well.